Hi everyone, welcome back to Curious Minds. I'm Mukesh and here we make videos about Canadian immigration. So if you are looking for information on this topic, please consider subscribing to our channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the general process of coming to Canada on a student visa. Moving to any country on any visa is a very complex process, and here we have tried to put together a video for a step-by-step process on how to apply as a student coming to Canada. Each year, nearly 500,000 international students choose Canada as their study destination, with dramatic increase in the recent years for a number of reasons, which we'll discuss in another video. For now, let's continue with today's topic. In Canada, each province and territory is in charge of their own education system. There's no education department at the federal level. Each university sets their own admission requirements for foreign students. Here's tip number one. Make sure you apply at least 6 months to a year in advance of the start of your program. The more time you give yourself for the whole process, the less stress you'll have when you are collecting all the documents, getting your finances ready, or getting your study permit, and so on. Okay, so before we get started, let's understand a commonly used term in the Canadian education system: designated learning institution, which is a school approved by a provincial or a territorial government to host international students. Here are 6 steps to come to Canada as an international student. Step number 1. Choose your program of study and the university which offers it. There are 96 public universities offering over 15,000 study programs in Canada. So select the one that's appropriate for your current education and for your future goals. While selecting the universities, keep in mind that not all universities are eligible for postgraduate work permit, and therefore if you are planning to work in Canada after you graduate, make sure you choose the one which allows you to do so. Go on the link in the description below to check whether the university that you want to select is eligible for a postgraduate work permit or not. Here's an example of that. Say when you filter schools in the city of Windsor, where we live, as you can see, 2 of the 5 schools are ineligible for the postgraduate work permit, and you can avoid applying to these schools. Step number 2, plan your finances. Each university will have its own fee structure, and the cost will vary depending on each university and the city that it is located in. Smaller cities overall will have smaller costs, but it will also give you smaller job opportunities in Canada. Just to give you an idea, for international students, the average undergrad fee is about 29,700 Canadian dollars per year, and the average post-graduation fee is about 17,700 Canadian dollars per year. Step number 3, finding and applying for scholarships. Unfortunately, university websites don't give you adequate information on scholarships for international students, so your best bet is doing a Google search, say for scholarships for Indian students in Canada, and you will get more information on that. Make sure you check your eligibility for these scholarship programs. Step number 4, sending in your university application. Once you have figured out which programs and universities are best suited for you in terms of your future goals, your finances, getting scholarships, and postgraduate work permit, your next step would be submitting an online application. As I said earlier, each university in Canada has their own requirements for documents and application deadlines, and therefore visit the respective university websites for exact information. You can also find the information on the university websites for the application cost, the tuition fees, health insurance cost, rent, and how much it costs to live in Canada, and their language test requirements. Tip number 2, for English language tests, go for IELTS rather than TOEFL, since IELTS is widely acceptable in Canadian universities, and it will also help you if you are going to get your study permit via Student Direct Stream. Step number 5 is accepting your offer from the university. Once you get an acceptance letter from your university, make sure you accept their offer and pay the tuition fees before their mentioned deadline in order to secure your admission. And FYI, this tuition fee is fully refundable if you don't get your study permit, but please check with your respective universities. Step number 6, getting your study permit. And once you accept the university offer, the next step is to apply for a study permit. In this video, I'm going to give you a general overview about the process of applying for study permit, but if you are looking for details about the study permit procedure, please watch my upcoming video on the details about the study permit. Study permit is a document that allows foreign nationals to study at a designated learning institution. It is usually valid for the length of your study program plus an additional 90 days. And it will also mention your work restrictions. That is, whether you are allowed to work on campus, off campus, and the number of hours that you are allowed to work. It will be granted to you by the immigration officer at the port of entry when you enter Canada. There are 2 ways to get your study permit. One, the traditional way, and the other, the faster way, called Student Direct Stream, which is only available for students from these 7 countries. Here I'll list the steps for getting your study permit through the traditional way. First, you submit your study permit application. Online applications are preferred over paper application. Then you pay the application fee and the biometrics fee. After that, you get your biometrics done and the medical exam done. Now you can get this medical exam done even before the application to avoid any delay in the process. After your application is processed, you'll get a passport request letter, and then you submit your passport to the visa application center. After submitting your passport, you'll get a temporary resident visa stamped in your passport, and you will also get a port of entry letter of introduction. This letter you will have to show it to the immigration officer when you arrive here in Canada, and after looking at all your documents and verifying your intent to study, you will get a study permit at the port of entry. Now make sure you check for the accuracy of your name on the study permit. Tip number 3. If you could not complete your study program by the expiration date mentioned on your study permit, you will have to apply for an extension of your study permit. So that's it for the overview of the process of coming to Canada on a student visa. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to cover any of these steps in detail, such as how to find universities or how to find the scholarships or whatever it may be. See you in the next video. Until then, have a wonderful day and stay curious.